Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Ever wondered about your hair? Where it comes from? Why we grow it? Why does hair grow in some places and not in others? And why is that hair longer in those places and not in the other places? Well, like myself, if you're wondering about those things, I'm here to answer them for you. So you see,
Hair has two distinct structures: the follicle, which is in the skin, and the shaft, which is what is visible from the scalp. The hair follicle is a tunnel-like part of the epidermis that extends down into the dermis. The function of the epidermis is to provide a physical barrier between the body and the environment to repel moisture. It also prevents excessive water loss. The dermis is the inner layer of the skin. It includes vessels and sebaceous glands. It is made up of connective tissue and consists of two layers, the stratum papillaire and the stratum reticulaire. It acts as a supporting structure for the epidermis and contains proteins such as collagen and elastin. The structure contains several layers that all have separate functions. At the base of the follicle is the papilla, which contains capillaries, or tiny blood vessels that nourish the cells. The living part of the hair is the very bottom part surrounding the papilla, called the bowl. The hair shaft is made of a hard protein called keratin, and is made in three layers. The inner layer is the medulla. Scientists are still stumped about the exact role of the medulla, but they speculate that it is primarily an air space that is more prominent in unpigmented gray or white hair. The second and thickest layer of the hair shaft is called the cortex. It contains most of the hair's pigment, giving the hair its color. This pigment in the cortex is called melanin, which is also found in the skin. The distribution of this pigment varies from animal to animal and person to person. In humans, the melanin is primarily denser near the cuticle, whereas in animals, melanin is primarily denser near the medulla. The outermost part of the hair shaft is called the cuticle. It is a hard, shingle-like layer of overlapping cells, some 5 to 12 deep. It is formed from dead cells, which form scales that give the hair shaft strength and do the best job of providing protection for it. The hair cuticle is the first line of defense against all forms of damage. It acts as a protective barrier for the softer, inner structure, including the medulla and cortex. Hair on the scalp grows about 0.3 to 0.4 millimeters a day, or about 6 inches per year. Unlike other mammals, human hair growth and shedding is random and is not based on seasons or on a cycle. At any given time, a random number of hairs will be in one of 3 stages of growth and shedding: anagen, catagen, and telogen. Anagen is the active phase of the hair. The cells in the root of the hair are dividing rapidly in a process called mitosis, which takes place in the matrix. A new hair is formed and pushes the club hair, a hair that has stopped growing or is no longer in the anagen phase, up the follicle and eventually out. During this phase, the hair grows about 1 centimeter every 28 days. The scalp hair stays in this active phase of growth for 2 to 6 years. The catagen phase is a transitional stage, and about 3% of all hairs on the scalp are in this phase at any time. This phase lasts for about 2 to 3 weeks. Growth stops and the outer root sheath shrinks and attaches to the root of the hair. This is the formation of what is known as a club hair. Telogen is the resting phase and usually accounts for 6% to 8% of all hairs. This phase lasts for about 100 days for hairs on the scalp and longer for hairs on the eyebrow, eyelash, arm, and leg. During this phase, the hair follicle is completely at rest and the club hair is completely formed. So, what parts of the body does hair not grow on? Well, hair does not grow on the soles of the feet, the palms of the hand, your lips, and your eyelids. You might also be wondering why hair grows shorter on the rest of the body besides the head. The hair on the arms, the legs, the eyelashes, and eyebrows have a very short active growth phase of about 30 to 45 days, explaining why they are so much shorter than the scalp hair.
well, that's all I really have to say. Well, I gotta get out of hair